Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers review. I've been sitting on this guy for about a month now, but to be honest with you, he's one of the most interesting Siege figures that I purchased. He's fun, and I haven't actually been able to put him down. He's one of the ones you just kind of keep picking up and playing with. This is of course the Siege War for Cybertron Trilogy JETFIRE. Now I know a lot of people already have this guy, but he hasn't hit retail officially here in the UK yet. A lot of the stores like Kapow and ID Toys are getting theirs on import. I got mine on import from Robot Kingdom. So until he does hit UK shores, then you will have to get yours imported. Now, just taking a quick look around the box, we've got some amazing Siege artwork on there. We've got a Mega Supreme who is delayed. I was really hoping to get him at TF Nation this year, but unfortunately he is delayed. And we've got Cybertron there, you've got the Arc taking off, and on the back of the box there we've got JETFIRE in both of his modes. Got combat ready. This is basically our G1 style JETFIRE, but again with all this kind of Macross style armor, much like he had in the G1 toy, being based on a Robotech stroke Macross figure, and paying nice homage to the Henkei version who we had, what, 5-6 years ago? Now, as well as all of the armor that he's sporting on there, we also get these kind of blast effects. I'm pretty sure these are the same blast effects they're using for the Marvel Legends as well as the Siege figures, but each their own. I don't like to display these with my Siege Transformers. I don't know, they're different to my Legends. I guess the superhero style of the Legends, I don't mind the blast effects, but for the Transformers, I don't know, I just like to make the noises. But yes, this is him kitted up out of the box with all of his added accessories. This is definitely far more in the style of Macross, with all of this big chunky added armor. We have this chest plate. We have the different configuration there for the wings. We've got the weapons attached. We have these weapons either side of the wrists as well. And then we have the regular gun, the JETFIRE would sport. That's now been separated into two pieces, and we also get the helmet as well. Something I think they really missed out on the faceplate would have been the kind of JETFIRE style ears, the split antennae that we got with the original JETFIRE toy. I think that's just something that would have really kind of set this one off even more so than it already is. Now, there are a lot of people out there that are comparing this to the likes of the Fans Toys interpretation. You can't really compare the two. Fans Toys is aimed at an adult collector. It's a very expensive piece, completely worth the money in my opinion, but it is a high-end collectible. That's like comparing a Marvel Legend to a Hot Toys if they were the same scale. They're two very different style of figures. Now, don't get me wrong, when you strip this back, if you're looking for a substitute, then yes, this could look like a decent Skyfire in your collection. I mean, he's not far off the size of Kronos, and a lot of people had Kronos back in the day, and for those that have survived and haven't fallen to parts or turned to dust, then yeah, maybe this is a good substitute, but I can't see anybody replacing their Fans Toys Phoenix with this anytime soon. But lower end of the collector tier, I think he is a top end Siege figure. He's a great physical piece. He's really nice to have in hand. He's still got lots and lots of hollow pieces, but then that's kind of what we've come to expect from Hasbro these days. It is definitely one of the biggest pieces that they've released thus far in the Siege line, and actually the only Siege figure that I've kept hold of. The other ones have come and gone. They were okay, but nothing really grabbed me and stayed with me. I had the original JETFIRE as a kid, but I was missing all of his kind of Macross armaments. And when this guy got teased, and I know these aren't spot on, but it really did hit that nostalgia vibe for me. It's a very nice nod to both the G1 and the Millennial collectors. I think it works for both. Now, just to give you an idea of how tall this guy is, ignoring the extreme difference in aesthetics, here is alongside MP10 and TE01. And here we have Siege Cog as well. My son had him displayed with his Fortress Maximus. So he's a big leader class figure. He's kind of like the leaders that we used to get back in the early 2000s, but he is very hollowed out. Let's take a look at these accessories and how to detach them. This chest plate goes on. It's actually going to bring this piece forward as well. Let's pull that back and pull that back. You see there's these flaps here. You want to push those down. Those are what retain this chest panel on. That just tabs in to either of those sides. This faceplate comes off like so. Again, that just slides over, and there we have the much more G1 cartoon inspired head. These arm pieces are just all tabbed in and tabbed in, and we can remove the guns from the back and from the tips like so, and we just push those tabs down and those tabs down, and then bringing in the gun. The hands just have these circular tabs which hold the weapons in place and bring these handles up, and we can just bring the guns in together, push and tab, and then we have the much more G1 inspired gun. Making sure those wrists are pushed and tabbed in securely. There we go, there he is with his much more kind of G1 style look. Again though, it may not be for everybody, but I think it's fantastic that we're actually getting options as well. Articulation wise, it's good. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. Head can look up, down, left and right. Shoulders are on very soft ratchets out to the side. Lots of play in these arm panel sections as well. Upper bicep rotation. Rotation on the wrist there, and if you open up the hands, I do love the fact that we've got this auto mechanism on the hands. As you close them, we get the ability to hold the weapon. There is a very tight waist joint, but it's enough to get a little bit of motion in there. Legs can come forwards, backwards, hips out to the side. No ratchets on that joint there though, that's all down to friction, and it's a very loose joint at that. Upper thigh rotation, bend on that knee, and the toes do go up and down, and we do get, albeit very tight and locked in, some ankle pivot. It clips in on the underside here. It's enough just to untab them. Oh, very solid joint. So we can get a nice wide stance, and it's enough of a stiff joint there so he doesn't slip and slide. It's a really kind of natural look to him. It's a good looking figure. I just wish I felt more for the line. It's just the odd gem like this that I really like the look of. This, the Omega Supreme, and of course the Unicron. But the rest of the line it's just very small. As much as as crazy as it sounds, I'm more than happy to pay like $60, $70 for a Voyager sized third-party figure, because they're made of much more solid plastic with the die cast intertwined. And then when you get a Voyager figure released in the UK via Hasbro, and you go to your local Smith's Toys and like that, and it's that same sort of price, but it's this really thin, flimsy plastic. I know there's licensing, etc., but I'm really begrudge it. Right now, before we transform him up, let's clean up all of this armament. Pull this piece up. Our mask is going to come in, and that's going to sit down in there and sit out of the way. We can then close that off. Here's double barrel gun, comes in, and this will push and tab into the void at the front and at the rear. These large guns, they push and tab at the top, and then these are going to slide in. The smaller rockets tab in nicely onto the bigger rockets, and then in turn these slide in like so. Now let's get Jetfire himself transformed up. I want to lift these wing panels up from the back. That's going to come all the way up to the top, and then we're going to bring these additional fold panels down and fold out the inner wings. Bring those wings down. That's not a bad look for Jetfire either. This side leg panel here, that's going to lift up and untab. That's going to come all the way around. That's on a double hinge, and you want to just push and locate that onto the back there. You've got a drop down hinge on here. That's going to slide all the way down to the base like so, and then just fold this in and fold this in. Depending on how you have this backpack displayed, the official configuration is having it up like so. I actually don't mind having mine drop down. Obviously having it drop down does interfere somewhat with the leg articulation, but you can drop this down. This is on a sliding hinge. Bring that down so we can then see this piece here, and then there's these locking tabs on the backs of the legs and on the thruster sections. So just line all of those up. There we go, and those are going to secure. These shoulders are going to drop down like so. This chest panel comes untabbed, and this whole piece here is going to lift up like so. So we've got all of this void on the underside. I'm trying to do this all on camera. It's easier said than done, isn't it? But these panels here are going to fold down, and that happens on both sides like so. This is going to come up, and as you can see, there's a tab just on the underside of this red back panel, like so. These are going to come all the way to the front, extending like so, and then this will should push and tab in, like so. Take a look at the shoulders. These are going to come all the way down. They're going to fold inside each other. So that's going to drop down. That's going to just push and lock into that joint. Come and have a look at the hands. This untabs. This is going to come out like so. The hand is then going to fold up and push back into position. These panels here are going to push, and they are on double hinge. As you can see there, that's going to sink into that socket there. This then comes down. There's a tab just on the back of this arm. Going to push and lock securely in like so, and then we have this panel here, and there's a tab just on the inside that's going to come down, and then again at the top just up by the nose cone. And with those tabbed in, we've got these landing gear at the front and at the rear, so we can just bring this down. This can then come up, and that is in essence our G1 Jetfire. That is pretty spot on. I can't really complain about that. And of course, if we want to go heavy artillery, we have the guns that we've already taken off, and this can just be placed on top. There we go. That is Jetfire. Taking a look at the front nose cone section, we have this chest panel piece that actually just slides on the inside. So if you choose to, you can take that out. And we now have a little space in there for like a headmaster or a breastmaster or something similar. I've seen people use their saber from Star Saber as well, the MP version, just sit him in there. That's a nice little added addition, something they didn't need to do, but something that is very welcome in my book indeed. So there we have it, Siege Jetfire stroke Skyfire, a very nice mix of G1 and modern. Love that kind of War for Cybertron vibe that they're going for with this line. Like I said, not a great deal of these figures appeal to me. This one, however, did. It hits all of those nostalgia vibes. It's not going to be a replacement for people, I don't think, in terms of Fans Toys Phoenix. It's just a lot shorter, and it doesn't really have that MP vibe. As a standalone, maybe a stand-in, yes, definitely could work. Personally, really love the figure. Definitely, in my opinion, the best figure released in the Siege Wage thus far. Thanks again to Robot Kingdom for making this review possible. I will include a link for this item in the description below. And until next time, for myself and Siege Jetfire, thanks for watching. Goodbye.